Hey everyone, and welcome back to Wealth Wise. Alright, let me ask you something straight up. Ever feel like becoming a millionaire is a pipe dream, especially if you're not pulling in a six-figure salary? Like, the game is rigged against the little guy, with inflation eating your lunch money and the headlines screaming about the next recession? Well, what if I told you that the quiet janitor down the hall, the friendly gas station attendant, or even the security guard at your office could be secretly building a multi-million-dollar fortune? Sounds like a Hollywood movie, right? But it's not. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible, real-life stories of everyday heroes who achieved the seven-figure mark on surprisingly common salaries. And no, it wasn't lottery wins or some crypto moonshot. We're talking about solid, repeatable strategies. We'll dissect how they did it, what the current, and let's say, spicy, 2025 economic landscape means for your journey, and most importantly, the 4 unbreakable pillars you must build to turn your financial dreams into reality, even if your paycheck feels, well, modest. Stick around, because this isn't just inspiration, it's your blueprint. Think about it. When you picture a millionaire, who comes to mind? Tech moguls? Wall Street sharks? Probably not Ronald Reed. This gentleman spent most of his life working as a janitor and a gas station attendant. According to ZipRecruiter, even in 2025, the national average for a janitor hovers around, let's be generous, 17 to 18 an hour. That's roughly $35,000 to $37,000 a year. Far from a Wall Street bonus, right? So how did Ronald, earning significantly less than the median U.S. income, amass an $8 million estate by the time he passed away in 2014? The craziest part? Almost nobody knew. His friends, his family, completely floored. This wasn't inherited wealth, this was self-made, brick by painstaking brick. His story, and others like it, prove a powerful point. It's not always about how much you make, but what you do with what you make. And that, my friends, is more critical than ever in today's economic climate. Alright, let's get real about 2025. We've ridden a wild roller coaster post-pandemic. Inflation, while maybe not the raging inferno of 22 to 23, is still a persistent little gremlin nibbling at our purchasing power. Let's say core inflation is hovering around 3 to 3.5%. That means if your money is just sitting there, it's losing value. Period. Interest rates. The Federal Reserve has played hardball to tame that inflation. So, while you might be getting a slightly better rate on your savings account than you did a few years ago, maybe 4 to 5% if you're lucky with a high-yield account, borrowing money for a car, a house, or even on your credit card. Ouch. That's gotten pricier. Job market. It's a mixed bag. Some sectors are booming, others are. Well, restructuring, a polite word for layoffs. Wage growth for many everyday jobs hasn't exactly kept pace with the cost of living. So, the squeeze is real. It feels like you're running faster just to stay in the same place, right? This isn't to scare you. This is to empower you. Because understanding the terrain is the first step to conquering it. Ronald Reed built his fortune through decades that included recessions, inflation spikes, and market crashes. The principles are timeless, even if the numbers change. So, how did Ronald do it? And how can you apply his wisdom? I've distilled it down to 4 fundamental pillars. Master these, and you're on your way, no matter what the talking heads on TV are yelling about. Pillar number 1, radical frugality, your financial foundation. Okay, frugality can sound like deprivation. Like you're doomed to eat instant noodles forever. But that's not it. I prefer to call it intentional spending or ensuring every dollar has a mission. When your income isn't massive, every single dollar is a soldier in your army. You need to be its general. This isn't about being cheap, it's about extracting maximum value. Ronald Reed was famously frugal. He'd use safety pins to hold his coat together, park far away to avoid parking meters. Extreme. Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. In 2025, with prices for essentials still elevated, this is non-negotiable. Do you really need that $7 artisanal coffee every day? That's $2,555 a year. Could you use a McDonald's app deal like our friend in the original script? A $1.55 saving sounds tiny, right? But that behavior, repeated hundreds of times, adds up. That $2,555, if invested, could be worth tens of thousands down the line. We'll get to that. Think about your biggest expenses: housing, transportation, food. Can you optimize? A smaller apartment for a few years? A reliable used car instead of a new one with hefty payments? Meal prepping? These aren't sacrifices, they're strategic deployments of your capital. The goal here is to achieve a high effective savings rate. I know people making $200,000 a year who save less than someone making $50,000, because their lifestyle inflation is through the roof. Don't be that person. Pillar number 2, invest aggressively, and smartly, your growth engine. Now, aggressively doesn't mean YOLOing your savings into the latest meme stock. Please, don't do that. Here on WealthWise, we advocate for informed aggression. It means two things: invest as much as you responsibly can, and start as early as you possibly can. Let's take that $35,000 janitor salary. If you can frugally carve out, say, 15%, that's $5,250 a year, or about $437 a month. Invest that in a broad market index fund like an S&P 500 ETF. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned an average of around 10% annually over the long term. Let's be conservative and say 8% to account for inflation and fees. If you start at 25, by 65, that $437 a month could grow to nearly $1.5 million. Wait until 35, and it's closer to $650,000. That decade of delay costs you almost $850,000. That's the brutal, beautiful power of compound interest. Time is your most valuable asset when investing. Ronald Reed didn't just invest, he reinvested his dividends. He bought shares in solid, blue-chip companies he understood, companies that paid dividends. And those dividends bought more shares, which paid more dividends. You see the snowball effect? In 2025, with potential market volatility, some might be scared. But true investors see downturns as buying opportunities. Remember, you're in this for the long haul, not for a quick flip. Pillar number 3, the unrelenting march of time, your secret weapon. This ties directly into investing, but it deserves its own spotlight. Ronald Reed passed away at 92. That's an additional 27 years of compounding after the traditional retirement age of 65. Imagine the growth his portfolio saw in those later decades. Look at Warren Buffett. The Oracle of Omaha. Everyone knows he's rich. But did you know that roughly 99% of his net worth was earned after his 50th birthday, and a staggering amount after 60? He started investing at age 10. He's now in his 90s. His secret isn't just picking great stocks, it's persistence and time in the market. If you invest $5,000 a year for 30 years at an 8% return, you'd have around $611,000. Not bad. But let it ride for just 4 more years, 34 years total, and it jumps to over $877,000. Those last 4 years added over $250,000. That's compounding going into overdrive. The market will have its mood swings. We'll see recessions, corrections, maybe even a black swan event or two. The key is to not panic. Stay invested. Keep adding. Let time do its heavy lifting. This is how you beat most active investors, by simply outlasting them. Pillar number 4, multiply your might, diversify your income streams. Okay, this is where you supercharge the process, especially on a lower primary salary. Tom Corley, author of Rich Habits, found that 65% of self-made millionaires had 3 or more income streams. 45% had 4, and 29% had 5 or more. Let's break down the common ones. 1. Earned income, your main job. The foundation. Even on a lower salary, aim for raises, promotions, or skills that make you more valuable. 2. Investment income, portfolio income. This is what Ronald Reed mastered. Dividends from stocks, distributions from ETFs or mutual funds. Reinvest these, DRIP it, dividend reinvestment plan, to accelerate compounding. Many brokerages offer DRIPs with no commission. 3. Interest income. Right now, in 2025, high-yield savings accounts are actually paying decent interest, maybe 4 to 5%. It's not going to make you rich, but it's a safe place for your emergency fund to at least try and keep pace with inflation. Better than the 0.01% your granddad's bank might offer. Check out Wealthfront, Ally, Marcus, links in the description for some popular options. 4. Rental income. This might seem out of reach on a low salary, but think creatively. Renting out a spare room? An ADU, accessory dwelling unit, if you own a home? Even renting out your car on Turo when you're not using it. 5. Side hustle/business income. This is huge. What skills do you have? Can you freelance, consult, tutor, walk dogs, craft, or resell items online? If your day job pays $18 per hour, and you can find a side hustle that pays $25 per hour or more for a few hours a week, that extra cash, invested wisely, makes a massive difference. The goal is to not rely on a single paycheck. Each additional stream is another layer of financial security and another engine for wealth creation. Now, you might be thinking, okay, wealth-wise, this sounds great for an individual, but what about the bigger picture? Well, these principles have global relevance. Across the world, people are facing similar challenges: the rising cost of living, wage stagnation in certain sectors, and the need for greater financial resilience in an interconnected and often volatile global economy. Countries with populations that are financially literate, save, and invest tend to have more stable economies. They have more capital formation, more innovation. Conversely, high levels of personal debt and financial precarity can be a drag on economic growth and social stability. What Ronald Reed did, on a micro level, contributes to a stronger macro foundation. His savings became capital for businesses to grow. His story is a testament to the power of individual financial discipline, and if scaled, it has positive ripple effects far beyond one person's bank account. So, what's the wealth-wise takeaway here? Is becoming a millionaire on an average salary easy? No. Let's be brutally honest, it requires discipline, patience, and a willingness to go against the grain of instant gratification that society constantly pushes on us. But is it possible? Absolutely. Ronald Reed is Exhibit A. The math doesn't lie. My perspective for you, watching in 2025, is this. Acknowledge the macro, master the micro. Yes, inflation is a factor. Yes, interest rates matter. Understand these forces. But focus on what you can control: your spending, your saving rate, your investment strategy, your pursuit of additional income. Frugality is freedom. It's not about what you can't have, it's about what you choose to prioritize for your future self. Every dollar you don't spend on something frivolous is a dollar that can work for you 24/7. Invest for the horizon, not the headlines. The market will gyrate. Don't let fear or greed dictated by daily news cycles derail your long-term plan. Consistent, diversified investing in low-cost index funds is a proven path. Skill up and side hustle. In today's economy, your ability to earn is your greatest asset. Continuously improve your skills. And seriously consider a side income. That extra $500 or $1,000 a month, invested, is a game changer. Look, the journey to 7 figures, especially from a modest starting point, isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. There will be days you feel like you're not making progress. But Ronald Reed didn't become a millionaire overnight. He did it over decades of quiet, consistent effort. The 4 pillars, frugality, aggressive and smart investing, leveraging time, and multiple income streams, are your building blocks. Start laying them today. Even small actions, compounded over time, lead to extraordinary results. So, what do you think? Are you inspired? Do you have your own frugal hacks or side hustle stories? Let me know down in the comments, I read them all. What's one step you're going to take this week to move towards your financial goals? If you found value in this, please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps the channel reach more people. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into making your money work harder for you here on WealthWise. Remember, your financial future is in your hands. Go build it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.